Hey everyone, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and give us a like. Now, let's jump into today's story. So picture this, it's 1959, and a group of 9 experienced hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute sets out on what should have been an epic adventure through the Ural Mountains in Soviet Russia. They were young, skilled, and eager to take on one of the most challenging expeditions of their lives. But instead, they ended up at the center of one of the creepiest unsolved mysteries ever, the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The group, led by Igor Dyatlov, was made up of some of the best skiers and survivalists of their time. They planned their route carefully, packed all necessary supplies, and even documented their trip through photos and diaries. Everything seemed perfectly normal, until it wasn't. Their destination was a Torten Mountain, a remote and unforgiving place covered in snow and ice. The hike was classified as a grade 3 difficulty, the toughest level, but these hikers were up for the challenge. They set off in high spirits, trekking through deep snow and harsh winds, but along the way, one of the hikers, Yuri fell ill and had to turn back. Little did he know, this decision would save his life. Days passed, and when the group failed to check in at the expected time, search teams were sent out. What they found was straight-up nightmare fuel. First, they discovered the tent. It was half buried in snow, but the most chilling part? It had been sliced open from the inside, as if the hikers had cut their way out in a panic. Their boots, coats, and supplies were still inside, untouched. Whatever had happened that night, they had fled barefoot into the freezing wilderness. But why? Following the tracks leading away from the tent, searchers stumbled upon the first 2 bodies near the tree line. They were both barefoot and wearing only their underclothes, their skin tinted a strange orange hue. Nearby, remnants of a small fire suggested they had tried to warm themselves, but in temperatures well below freezing, it wouldn't have been enough. 3 more bodies were found between the tent and the forest, as if they had been trying to crawl back to safety but never made it. Their positions hinted at pure desperation. It took 2 more months to find the last 4 hikers, buried under several feet of snow in a nearby ravine. And their injuries made the whole thing even stranger. Some had massive internal trauma, crushed ribs, fractured skulls, but no external wounds. One of the victims was missing her tongue. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. So what the hell happened that night? People have come up with all kinds of theories. The official explanation? An avalanche. But there was no clear evidence of one. And even if there had been, why would experienced hikers slice open their tent instead of unzipping it and grabbing their gear? Another theory is paradoxical undressing, a phenomenon where hypothermia victims start feeling hot and remove their clothing. But that still doesn't explain the severe injuries on some of the bodies. And then there are the more bizarre explanations, Soviet military experiments, high-frequency sound waves that drove them into a panic, or even an encounter with something not of this world. Witnesses reported seeing strange orange lights in the sky around the same time. Some of the hikers' clothing was even found to be radioactive. There are whispers about secret military testing, chemical exposure, and even Yeti attacks. But no single theory completely explains everything that happened that night. Even now, nobody really knows what happened to those 9 hikers. It's one of those cases that keeps people up at night, wondering what went down in that frozen wilderness. Were they victims of a natural disaster, a top-secret government cover-up, or something even darker? So what do you think? Was it just bad luck, or was something more sinister at play? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more creepy stories.